Welcome back to the series. If you're here for the first time, this is a series on a real-world project built with WordPress and BuddyPress. This is the second part of a two-part mini-series where I show how I managed to dynamically display the member count during the sports-based filtering process using ES6 JavaScript and WordPress Ajax in object-oriented style. In this video, I cover the front-end JavaScript setup to display and reset the data using local storage of the browser. As a bonus, I also show how to implement a very helpful JavaScript library called arrive.js. Let's get started. Welcome back. Last part of the video, we saw how to data is collected from the back end and written to the local storage, so the rest of the application can use it quickly. Just a quick recap. We just handled the upper part of the process in the last video, writing to the local storage, and now we're going to explain how the rest of the JavaScript takes that data and displays the athlete count on the athlete index file. Okay, so let's just have a quick look on the functionality we are talking about. This little line change is the one we're going to look into to find that which file it's happening from. I mean, this time we don't have to rewrite anything because this select function is already happening, because it's already doing the filter. We have already written the filter, so we're going to piggyback on the same file, same filtering process to find that. We're going to, this is theme name, assets. This time we're going to source and dig down to the athlete sports filter select. For each filtering, I have a separate file. So since this is dealing with the sports, so we're going to go there and find that this is a change event happening, the select sports, which is this guy right here. And we've already have a change event handler in place, which is handling all this filtering data. And this is happening. I mean, if you want to learn about this, I have a big, whole video dedicated to it. Just let me take you there for a quick look. So pretty much you have to go to my channel and look for this series, and specifically this file. This video has all the details of the filtering system. So for now, we're not going to go over all that, but we're going to look into this change handler. We just threw in one little function there, is get athlete count, and as an argument, we're sending this e.target.value, which is nothing but the sports name, the selected sports. This guy here. Anything we choose, rugby, this is the number now that it's changed. So this is the sports name we're sending to this function. So let's minimize this one. Remember, get athlete count is the one, and we find get athlete count, and we're sending the sports item, and immediately we're collecting the container, count container, pag-data. So let's go find out where that is. And this is the guy. Let's go look into the inspect, and we find pag.data, which is attached to a p tag, and this is where all the information is being displayed. So we collect that container, and immediately we go looking for the necessary data that is inside the local storage right here. This guy right here. And remember, this is 0, and all the necessary sports variables are right here. So once we collect this data, put it inside this athlete count data, and then we put it through another switch and case structure. So we're going to send this sports item we just collected here. After every selection, we send it through here, and it matches all the sporting events. Once it does, it gets that athlete count, the number inside this variable, using this athlete count data 0 and the sporting event. So once again, this is that 0, and this is that sporting event name. So as soon as you get that, get to that variable athlete count dot 0 and baseball or basketball or bowling, right? So let's say cheerleading. So you get that number 2. So once this number gets collected here, then we find that count container and we change that athlete, HTML in there. Whatever was there, let's refresh. So this is the original data generated by BuddyPress, but we're just taking over as soon as something is chosen. Let's say baseball, which is that, calculate that number and return this text. From right here, athletes found, sporting event name, and the number. So this is what generates this guy right here. So on and so forth. It goes on and on for all 27 sporting events. But now comes the critical part, which is what happens when we hit reset. We have to put this back, right? Now, it may look simple, but watch how I do this, because there's a big challenge collecting this guy. We have to basically, the strategy I took is I initially collect this and save it to a session variable, and whenever these resets are happening, now watch how many ways this is reset, right? Let's say cheerleading, and then this is one way you have to reset, and then let's choose another, and then reset button, this resets. And also, once the advanced filter kicks in, this number is put here, and we go back, and this is reset. So many ways it's being reset. So that's what we're gonna show next. All right, so now we're gonna talk about reset, right? So in order for us to reset, we need to collect this guy. But the problem is, watch what happens when I refresh. Just look at here. See, it waits for a while, then PHP does its job, and then it shows up. See that gap time? It makes it impossible for any JavaScript to collect this. It's gonna go bypass every time, because I even tried using interval time or set timeout, whatnot. Nothing worked, right? After a lot of research, I found one very important library called arrive.js, and that's what I'm going to show how to use. Now, this is the library I was talking about, arrive.js. This guy right here, he did an awesome job. He gave you all sorts of details. But only problem I found trying to implement it when I did using the npm, and try to use it in my file the way I structurize everything, it didn't work for me. So I had to go use it the old way. So let me show you how. Okay, we're back at the backend. So to find it, we have to go all the way, since it is the member index file. So let's go find the member index. There you go. This is the index file. And at the very bottom, this is the way I ended up using it. So pretty much inside that, at the end of the template, I pretty much called in, I actually downloaded the arrive.min.js first, and I just set it up just like, using a get template directory URI. So once I set it up this way, what it does is it waits until this element is found on that page. Once this element is found, then it goes ahead and dollar this, and boom, athlete count box. That's how I got that whole container, because this is the container, remember? Like if I do a right click here, see, PAG-data. This is actually coming from BuddyPress, right? So I did p.pag-data. So I waited, arrive.js waits for it. Once it shows up in the page, it collects it and puts it in here. And then what I do, I just call that element .text and .trim so that I can collect exactly this text. And then what I do, I go ahead and create a session variable and put it under that session. So let's go find it. ASM, session storage, and original athlete count. See, this is the text. See, this is the guy. We collect and put it out there. As soon as this page loads, this runs and puts it inside that session variable. Okay, so let's get right to it. So the way I normally do it is I always have a parent file where I put the common functions everywhere. Like a reset filter is being used every single other files. All the other filters also use the reset filter. Pretty much what it's doing is as soon as somebody hits it, it just set the value to all, and as soon as the all is selected, then everything is put back. All the dnone or display none classes have been removed so that everything shows up. Just like, like when you have this, you have only 2 items, but then as soon as reset is hit, the display none is removed from everything and everything shows up. So that's how reset is being done, and it's being used for every single filter there is. So it's a common function. So what I do is I create a parent file, athlete, parent, and then you see sports, and everybody else eventually, pulls it in and extends it. So as soon as you extend it, that becomes available everywhere. So now anywhere in the filter I need to call in the reset, I just call the super.reset filters, right? Super is right here, super, that makes it a child of this guy, right? So super.reset filter right here, right? Anytime sports is equal to all, super.reset filter kicks in. So not only that when I hit this button it's gonna jump, also anytime I choose something and then go back to all sports, it's gonna jump. So because anytime this value is all, it resets everything. So going back to the parent file, so let's go into the reset function right here. So now that we already have this done, so all we do here is collect from that session variable this original text, auth text, which is this guy right here, original auth text, right? We just collect it, and then p.pag.data, which is this container right here, and we put it back as it was. Okay, before I finish, I need to show one quick thing, which is the advanced filter, because this part needs to be handled, right? Because I already have the setup, I can choose any sports here, and then boom, I just show nothing but golf, right? So this part wasn't done before. So what I'm gonna do, same way I worked on the base filter, piggybacked on other code that I've already written. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it the same way. So let's go take a look. So I already had a filter switch modal in place. I mean, this is the file, this is the one we handling the entire modal switching. As you can see here, I called, Bootstrap here, and Also, when the modal buttons is pressed, programmatically calling the Bootstrap modal being launched and everything, making it static so that when you click on that, if you click on that, nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. So this is also set up that way, but only when the button is clicked, you go and you find your dedicated sports, the exact one you clicked, right? So, but at the same time, this needed to change, so I just used the same code. Oh, also, if you want to know the details, just go back to my channel, find this playlist, WordPress plus BuddyPress real world project. This has plenty of them, and in here, to be specific, you have to go find this one. Is actually, I think I have 3 of them, and this is the first one, index page JavaScript based advanced filtering system. So this 3 video will give you all the details you need to know. So now, here I already had a function that would this one, load sports based filters, right? So this one was already ready to go. So you pass in that sports, and then you go through this case and switch, and according to the sporting event, you go ahead and make them available. All that, like, let's say if it is football, it will remove that display none class from all the football related events, so on and so forth, and that way only that specific sports related item would be visible. So I just took that same block of code and just entered in the same the similar way. Just in that same function, I went ahead and collected this p.pack data, this portion of this element, basically collected that, and then collected the same athlete count from the local storage, put it in here. This has right now, this has all the JSON data necessary, and then whichever sports is chosen, send it to that switch case and switch, and in here, if that athlete data count is available, then went ahead and collected that number, which is this guy right here. This is the 0, and this is the sports name, sports name, and the 0, and gave me the count, which is these numbers 622 whatever. And then, since I've already collected this count, the count container, I just changed the HTML according to the sports.